Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video, and welcome to another patch note breakdown today for patch 13.10. 15 minutes ago, that says 5, but it's cut off, but 15 minutes ago these came out. Recording it as soon as I can, and obviously this will be today's second video, so if you appreciate that, then I'm recording it, getting uploaded for today. Please do throw a like on the video and comment what you think of the patch notes. This is a fairly big one, I will say, because we've got new items, and that's mainly what I want to talk about, if I'm completely honest. As you can see, there's a lot of adjustments. So we've got only buffs, no nerfs, but buffs to Akshan, although he's performing pretty good at the moment. Callista, Kindred, Nico, and Vayne. New items, 4 new items, 1 returning, or no, 2 are returning. Chalice of Blessing, which is the old Chalice item, and Static Shiv are returning. But then we have Echoes of Helia and Lifewell Pendant. And then we've got the new Snow Moon skins, which Snow skins are being launched in May, I don't know. But Snow Moon, Ari, Morgana, and Varus. We have system changes to Blast Cone, Minions, Trinkets, Turrets, and Unleashed Teleport. And a lot of adjustments, which we will go over. So, let's get into it. So, champions, just to say very quickly, Akshan, Callista, Kindred, and Vayne are getting brand new AP ratios because they might buy Ginsu's Rage Blade, which is getting ability power. So these new ratios aren't meant to make AP builds strong or even viable, but instead to make incidental sources of ability power like Rage Blade, potentially even Baron as well, feel like they aren't wasted. So these are probably going to be very quick to go over mainly. So passive AP ratio added to damage, shield decreased. Q AP ratio added to bonus movement speed. So they're not getting any actual damage value technically, but well, massively. So magic damage on 3rd stack. So it is now gaining a 60% ability power ratio, which isn't bad. And then the shield value also is going up in later games. So 40 to 280, it's now 40 to 280, but then plus 35% bonus AD, which is the same, but then scaling non-linearly, mirroring base stat growth. So instead of scaling with champion level, it's now mirroring your base stat growth instead. So it's a 10% shield reduction for early and mid game, but then it'll be better in late game. And then the Q, bonus move speed upon hitting an enemy champion, was 40. It's still 40, but you also get 5% per 100 ability power that you get. So there you go. Nothing crazy, but yeah. Callista AP ratios added slow and damage. So, you know, none of these are a negative. It's just with the champions that are going to buy Rage Blade, you're going to get 40 ability power, I think it is, from that. And then you might get a couple other little bits here and there. You're just gaining excess damage that you never had before. So you're just gaining 5% more slow per 100 ability power, 20% ability power ratio, and 20% ability power of additional stacks as well. Kindred, same kind of thing. WAP ratio, EAP ratio. Honestly, a lot of these are kind of pointless to say. You're just getting a little bit of extra damage from buying Rage Blade. So in essence, basically buy Rage Blade on these champions is what they're trying to say. Nico, obviously the rework came out. I played it in mid lane, and honestly I haven't been that impressed with mid lane Nico, but 2 roles where it's kind of popped off, I will say, more. Mainly jungle, but honestly support Nico has actually become quite a thing, because it is so hard to tell where she is. That's the problem, is support Nikos are literally, again, just walking as minions, pretending to be a minion, and wabam, a gank. Or because it's a support Nico, you don't actually have to be actively farming. They can just take a plant in river, pretend to be that plant, and wabam, they can catch somebody out. It's pretty strong. So what are they doing? Cool. This is something that I will say I think she needed from what I saw with the people playing jungle, is just help when it comes to doing damage to the jungle champions itself. So bonus damage to monsters is going up for her Q. The bonus damage to monsters of her empowered auto attack is going up. And then magic damage in general for ulti is also going up 20% extra from ability power. So it's 120% AP ratio. That's good. So I I honestly, yeah, I think this champion could now be better, especially in the jungle. The fact that her clear will be better and her ultimate's bit better too. Vayne also obviously gets the ability power. 50% AP ratio. Jeez, I will just say they really want Vayne to be meta. They gave her weird buffs recently, and then they're giving her 50% when every other champion here is getting 20%. So, like, yeah, they really want that champion to be meta. All right, so the critical strike item change. So we've got a big update to crit itemization with the hope of creating a much more open ecosystem of crit item players are excited to buy. Currently, League of Legends functionally has 2 sets of crit strike mythic items: Kraken, Gale Force, Shield Bow, and then Infinity Edge, Rage Blade, and Quick Blade. Ultimately, we feel that Infinity Edge, Quick Blades, Rage Blade, and Gale Force actually fit the role of mythic item the best, so the other items are being demoted to legendary status and retuned to fit that new role. The new mythic items are quite similar to the old versions, as they already serve their purpose well, with a notable change to Rageblade more strongly filling the hybrid on-hit niche. So again, we'll look all through this. My only thing that I will say, and I think people probably are like, Huz probably is not too surprised by saying this, AD carries have been really strong this season. Like, jungle's been probably the premier role, but then AD carry is like the ultimate carry role, if that makes sense. Like, mages have sucked for Ava. I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm sorry. Mages have sucked for a long time. Riot have admitted this. Riot has said that we're going to try and help mages. Why aren't mages getting attention? AD carriers have been strong forever, yet then they're getting all these changes. They even had changes a few patches ago with the initial crit changes anyway, and now they're getting a massive overhaul after they've already had some changes. I just feel like they're just ignoring a whole set of players, and they've admitted mages aren't very good when AD carries have been really good. It just confuses me. It really does. But anyway, let's get into the actual changes. So a lot of this is unchanged for Bloodthirster, so just more lifesteal. The cost is unchanged, but then the new unique passive is, while above 50% health, gain an additional 10 to 40 attack damage. Just straight up, this item is better. Just like insanely better. Okay, interesting. Gale Force. So I think this, by the way, is the same patch that Prowler's Claw is basically in essence being removed, because a lot of people have deemed that item unhealthy because you're giving mobility technically to a lot of champions that shouldn't have it. And then it's made, and I will say, I've seen on Reddit a lot of assassin players who buy Prowlers, or AD Scion players that love Prowlers. A lot of them are now going, what about Gale Force then? Like, why are you keeping it on Gale Force? And I will say, fair point. Completely fair point. If the reason why Prowlers is unhealthy is because it's giving mobility to champions that technically shouldn't have it, or it's giving them too much mobility when they already have mobility in their kit, Gale Force is technically doing the same, but that's not being impacted. So I will say fair point to those players to be annoyed by that. So attack damage. Well, Gale Force is the one crit mythic item that's remaining mythic. The opportunity cost of Infinity Edge, Quick Blades, Rage Blades more meaningful, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this item is staying mythic. Why would they keep Gale Force a mythic and not Kraken or Shield Bow? Because of the dash. In essence, the dash is an incredibly strong ability. Everyone knows that. And you can't let somebody buy this item every game without sacrifice. If you buy this item, you're not getting Infinity Edge, example, like you're not getting Rage Blade, you're not getting one of the other absolute premier items, where before, and the one thing I will give right, that before you could buy Gale Force and you have Infinity Edge and you have everything. They are stopping that, which I guess is good. So the attack damage is going down, attack speed is going down, the crit chance is staying the same, but you get 7% bonus movement speed now when you buy Gale Force, which is pretty good. And then the dash is what looks to be staying mainly the same, 90-second cooldown. And then your mythic passive empowers all your legendary items with 5 extra attack damage. So practically this item is actually being nerfed a bit, which I'd imagine is being nerfed a bit in actual damage output, because again, it's a bit hypocritical for Riot to go, we're removing Prowlers as an option, as a mythic, because it's unhealthy because of the dash, and then them to be completely fine with Gale Force. I think they're nerfing this a little bit because of that. That's my guess. But anyway, And also, it's worth knowing the recipe is changing a little bit. So it used to be Noon Quiver, Cloak of Agility Pickaxe. It's now BF Sword, Zeal Longsword. So the item recipes are also changing. Typhoon is the upgraded version of this item from Ornn. And it, again, less attack damage, less attack speed from the upgraded version. You're gaining 2% more movement speed. So there's that. Ginsu's Rage Blade. So Ginsu's is back, and it's a pinnacle of hybrid on-hit item. So this is considering, just to make it very clear, Jax could now buy this. Kayle could probably now buy this. So keep those champions in mind as well. Total cost is going up by 600, but obviously it's being raised to a mythic item from a legendary, so that makes sense. The item recipe is now becoming... is that Amp Tome, Rage Knife, and Pickaxe. I don't know what Rage Knife is. It's obviously new, or maybe it's not. Oh no, it's the little... I know what it is. But anyway, new is 30 attack damage, 30 ability power. The attack speed is going down because it's gaining those other stats, so it's 25% attack speed now. But then new unique passives, Wrath, attacks apply 30 magic damage on hit, and also convert your critical strike chance into up to 150 more. So this is where they are trying to make it into a AD carry item. If you're building excess crit, you're gaining more benefits from Rage Blade, but you don't necessarily have to. But then the other unique passive, Seething Strike, basic attacks grant stacks of 8% attack speed up to 4 times, and at max stack, every third attack applies the on-hit effects twice, which again is similar to what it used to do. And then the Mystic passive, oh my god. Every legendary item is now giving 5% armor and magic penetration. Oi, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm scared of Kayle and Jax more with this item than I think most AD carries. But what AD carries I think could use this, yeah, Vayne clearly. Cogmore, don't forget about him. Yeah, this could be a Kindred obviously as well. Yeah, this could be a very scary item. Wow. Oof. I'm just going to make a very bold prediction right now. Let's see if I'm correct. These items are going to get nerfed. I have heard, I haven't played on the PBE, but I have heard from people that have been testing it that these items are broken. I have heard that people are like, these items are not balanced. So we'll see, obviously, how they go when it comes to the thingy. Seething Sorrow is the Ornn version. Heartbound Axe. So alongside the various large mythic and legendary updates, we're also making a slew of efficiency-focused changes to epic items. So epic items are components for legendary items. Heartbound Axe was underperforming, so it's getting some buffs. So it's actually more expensive now, but because it's more expensive, you get 5 more attack damage, which, I guess that's okay. Shield Bow. So Shield Bow is becoming demoting to a legendary item. So 400 gold cheaper because it's not a mythic. Its recipe is changing. You still get 50 attack damage. You still are getting 20 crit. You still are getting 7% lifesteal, but you're not getting attack speed anymore. But you're still getting a shield. Granted, it's less, but as you can see here, is if you would take damage that would reduce you to 30% of your maximum health, you first gain a shield, which used to be 250 to 650 shield, based on your level for 3 seconds. It's now, if you would take damage to 30%, which is the same, it's a 215 to 500 shield, which I would say does feel still quite a lot, considering that this isn't a mythic item anymore. And then unique passive for this item, Lifeline bonus stat. When Lifeline is triggered, the user gains AD, which now it's when Lifeline is triggered, the user gains 30% attack speed. So you're no longer getting AD, but you're getting more than the attack speed than the item used to have. So this is where I've not played the PB myself, but this is where I could definitely see people are saying, oh my god, AD carries are going to be OP. Because this is a incredibly strong item. I would even say it's still mythic strength easily, and it's not a mythic. So you could be buying Ginsu's Rage Blade or Gale Force and buying Shield Bow. Then it's not a mythic. You can buy a mythic, and now at this, it's a legendary item. That's probably too strong, to be honest. And then Infinity Edge is now becoming a mythic. So Infinity Edge is 3,400 still, so it's unchanged. The recipe is unchanged. Attack damage is unchanged. The crit rating is unchanged, and the crit strike damage is unchanged. The only thing that this is getting is gaining the mythic passive of granting other items 5 AD when you purchase one. That, by the way, shows how strong Infinity Edge is. They are literally not changing this item basically at all, and it's becoming a mythic. That just gives you an idea of, like, AD carries have been strong for a while when items are being upgraded a tier without change. But again, if you want to buy Infinity Edge, which obviously is more for, like, if you're a really crit-based AD carry, you want the crit strike damage increase, you cannot buy Rageblade or Gale Force and Infinity Edge anymore. So you do have to decide that, at least. And then, what the hell's this? I guess this is probably for the new, or whatever. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I know that icon, but I don't know the names of some of the components, the epic items. So this epic item is gaining attack damage, losing attack speed, and its energized attacks used to do 80 bonus magic damage. It's now only 60. So it's kind of just a change, I guess, for the item. Kraken Slayer. So Kraken, just again reminding everyone, is now a legendary. So you, as an AD carry, could buy this item every game, no matter what mythic you buy. So it's becoming cheaper, 400 gold cheaper. The recipe is changing, but you are getting less attack damage. You are getting more attack speed, though. You're staying at 20% crit. And then the new unique passive is every third attack applies 20 plus 60% of your total AD plus 45% of AP bonus magic damage. And then subsequent triggers on the same target within 6 seconds increases damage up by 50%. So this item is no longer a tank killing item. Notice that. They have actually changed this item that it doesn't do the percentage health kind of damage that it used to do, and that might even be true damage as well. It doesn't do that anymore. So this actual item, I will say, has been just straight up nerfed. Because what I was worried of, like, oh, dude, they could probably just buy Kraken Slayer, Bork, and there's tank killing there, and then a Ginsu's. It's obviously, let's be honest, though, it's going to be really strong with Ginsu's because it's on the every third attack applies this bonus magic damage. Oh, and then Ginsu's is also doing that. So you can kind of already see the synergy of Ginsu's and Kraken. But what I would say is Shield Bow hasn't felt pretty much nerfed near enough at all. You're losing attack speed, but then you're gaining it back. Shield Bow still is going to be pretty damn strong. Kraken has been nerfed. So that does feel a little bit weird that one of them has been nerfed decently and brought, what I would say, it's still a strong item, Kraken, but it has been brought down to a legendary tier item. But that's where I would say Shield Bow to me still feels mythic level, but it's legendary. Just to say, you could buy, straight up, you could have the Rage Blade, Ginsu's Rage Blade, you could have Kraken Slayer, and you can have Shield Bow. You can have all of those items in your build. That's really strong. Anyway, Scimitar's gaining more magic resist, more reminders gaining more attack damage. So Quick Blades is also becoming a mythic. So you have to make, obviously, like before, you only could buy Infinity Edge or Quick Blades. It depends what playstyle you are. If you're more of a just straight up auto-attacking AD carry, Infinity Edge is better. But if you're more of an ability-based AD carry, like Xayah, Quick Blades was better. So the total cost of it, again, is not changing, similar to Infinity Edge. The recipe is unchanged. The attack damage is unchanged. Crit strike chance is unchanged. Ability is unchanged. So a lot of it is literally unchanged. So yeah, it's staying as the attacks reduce the non-ultimate abilities by 12%. That's, I think, the same. Your abilities deal up to 20% increased crit, which is the same because it's the empowering crit item. And then and it's obviously adding the mythic is you're getting more ability haste for your legendary items. Which again, it, like I said before, it shows how strong these two items were, Quick Blaze and Infinity Edge, because these items are relatively unchanged. They're staying the same cost because of how strong these items were. So you could have these items, which were, let's be honest, mythic level strength, and they weren't mythics. So that's probably why AD carries just felt so strong for so long. Flicker is the Ornn version. Noon Quiver no longer builds into any mythic items. That's it. That's the update. So yeah, don't buy Noon Quiver first. Phantom Dancer is becoming more expensive, but you're gaining 5% more attack speed for that. Rage Knife, which again, I now do remember what it is. So this item obviously is a component for Rage Blade. So it's basically a mini version of Rage Blade to give you a bit of a power spike, not having to get all the way to the full item. So this item grants 20 magic damage on hit, and then Seething Strike, which is the same buff as the big one, but just not as good, is attacks grant 5% attack speed, stacking up to 3 times with a maximum of 15% attack speed. For 1200 gold, that's actually quite a strong item. So again, like a Kale, potentially instead of rushing a Nash's Tooth, a Kale might rush Rage Blade into Ginsu. That's not bad. Rapid Fire Cannon is gaining 30 attack damage, but is getting less attack speed. It's also becoming more expensive. So there we go. Recurve Bow, obviously a component, is becoming cheaper, but you're getting less attack speed. And it's no longer physical damage on hit, it's magic damage on hit. So they have changed a lot of the on-hit damage, even for AD carries, into ability power because of Rage Blade. That seems to be what they're doing. Runan's Hurricane is becoming more expensive. The recipe is changing. You're getting less attack speed on the item, but this now applies on-hit damage. Unique passive, the bolt damage is going to 50% total AD is a buff. And then Wind's Fury now additionally searches for any minions in range if no champions can be found. So that's good. You can see the synergy with, again, a lot of AD carries. Kog'Maw, like, he springs to mind. Rage Blade, Runan's Hurricane, what was the one? Kraken Slayer. Like, you can see the build being built in front of your eyes, and I guess that's the point. Static Shiv, obviously an old item coming back. So total cost is 3,000. That's the recipe is Noon Quiver, Cloak of Agility, the Shard, and 400 gold. 45 attack damage, 25% attack speed. Crit is chances 20%, and then the passive is your energized attacks via chain lightning that applies 60 to 170 plus 50% ability bonus and magic damage. These energized attacks will hit 6 to 12 targets. They chain to the next target within 600 range. Every time it deals damage, they deal 120% bonus damage to minions. Wave clear up the gazoo. Like, if AD carries now buy, like, you could have a team comp that's not very good at wave clear, and you know the enemy team is trying to siege you. If your AD carry is not bad with Static Shiv, you could just annihilate the minion waves, and the enemy team may never be able to push. It's crazy. That's really good. Maybe like Severe could be a really good synergy. Like, those waves will just be destroyed. But yeah, Storm Razor, an item that has been relatively forgotten about. So we'll see what they're doing here. So it was more of an early game centric item. So it's going up by 300 gold to 3,000. Recipe is changing. Attack damage, though, because the item is going up in gold, you're getting more attack damage. You're staying at 15% attack speed. You're staying at 20% crit. And then your energized attacks deal 25 plus 65% total AD and 50% bonus magic damage and grants 45 movement speed. So again, a lot of what they're doing is relatively the same. I will just say, though, this feels really strong. All these items just seem so ridiculously strong. There's no negative to these items at all. They just seem all really good. It's worth knowing, today on stream, I was playing actually a few AD carry games. So there's a reason I'm playing AD carry. Collector's getting more lethality. Zeal's getting 50% more in cost. Less attack speed, less movement speed, and no longer has the passive. So that is just being nerfed a little bit. It was too powerful as like a component item. So there's that. Overall, for the AD carry items, yeah, they're definitely on the strong side, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's nerfs in the near future. Assassin item changes. So, like Prowler's Claw, Duskblade gave a unique effect to many champions. With stealth, we found that the appeal and frustration of the item limited how powerful the item could actually be. Since its release, Duskblade has been notably weaker than other mythics. We're reworking the stealth aspect of the item to be a bit clearer for both sides. So removed is Night Stalker passive would no longer empower your next basic attack against an enemy champion every 15 seconds. So that's gone. But now your spells deal up to an additional 15% bonus damage based on the target's missing health, maximized at 20% remaining health. But it's staying... Oh, wait. So now it is when a champion you have damaged dies within the 3 seconds, you become invisible for 1.5 seconds. It's now when a champion you have damaged within the past 3 seconds dies, you become untargetable by non-structures. This effect does not destroy incoming missiles and breaks upon any action that would normally exit stealth. What does that mean? So that means you cannot right-click this champion because they're untargetable, so you can't just right-click and auto-attack them. You cannot aim a point-and-click spell at them, but I believe if you have an AoE, like a Nivea ulti or something, it will still hit them because you don't have to target a Nivea ult, they're just in a Nivea ult, and because they get hit by that, breaks upon taking any action that would normally exit stealth. So if you get hit by an Nivea Q, I think that would break stealth or something, you know? That will get rid of their stealth. So it's different. It's strong for sure because, you know, there's a lot of champions that Duskblade champions want to kill. They're going to suffer not being able to attack them back. But, yeah. Interesting. Prowler's Claw. So this is where I know a lot of people are happy about this. So it's being demoted to a legendary tier. The cost is only being removed by 100, but you're getting 5 less attack damage, 5 less ability haste, and 3 less lethality. The sand swipe active removed, so that's the dash. But the new one, and this is what I think Riot is trying to kind of focus, is the more unhealthy aspect was giving champions a dash that weren't designed for it, such as like AD Scion in zombie form or something. But now, if you are a champion that has a dash, you are having the benefit. So after dashing, blinking, or exiting stealth, your next attack on an enemy champion deals bonus stuff. So 85 damage plus 45% AD, or different from ranged. And if the owner is melee, the attack also slows the target for 99% for 0.5 seconds. So it's an assassin item properly now, is what they're basically doing. Non-assassins were buying this item I think were the bigger thing. So as you can see here, let's read. So Prowler's Claw was the first item to give every champion a targeted dash, which unlocked amazing new combos and introduced a it's not skill intensive, but item for players to show off their outplay potential. No, but anyway, however, its consistent target access ended up limiting how we could balance and design champions. Some, such as Talon and Rek'Sai, were designed with huge payoffs if they could use their mobility skills to get into melee range. But with this addition, this trivialized one part of the challenge, meaning we had to nerf the payoff of the mobility. Yeah, so basically, think of Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai was a big champion with this. Rek'Sai could use in borrowed form Prowlers and then pop up, and there's nothing you can do about that. But now, Rek'Sai, I think, can't even use this item technically, because Rek'Sai's tunnel isn't a dash, it's not a blink, and it's not stealth. So yeah, I guess Rek'Sai just can't use Prowlers anymore. Talon still can, because he's got technically a dash with his Q, and he's got invisibility with his ult. But it basically just gave those champions way too much freedom easily to get on the target when that was actually supposed to be part of their challenge and skill. It just got rid of that challenge and skill to do that. You just clicked Prowlers and bam, you're on top of the target. So I think it's really good that that's gone. It's a lot healthier. Yumu's also is now being promoted to a mythic. So the cost is going up and you're basically gaining the stats that Prowlers was missing. You are no longer gaining the bonus movement speed out of combat. Other items are getting 7 attack damage. And the new Haunt is moving and generates spectral shards up to 100. For each stack, gain 0.4 movement speed up to a maximum of 40 movement speed, which basically is where that was from. And then at maximum stacks gain lethality. So these stacks reset 3 seconds after dealing damage to an enemy champion while at maximum stack. So this is a nice assassin item. You are also, by the way, gaining more bonus movement speed over here. So yeah, just a standard nice assassin item. This doesn't offend me at all. Movement speed is something assassins definitely need. Obviously, they are built more for roaming, so that makes sense. Yumu's Wake is, I guess, the Ornn version. Yep. Support items. So again, big patch. Holy moly. Abyssal Mask cost has been reduced and recipe has been changed in order to be a more effective magic resist option for support tanks. So it's just becoming cheaper and technically weaker, but it will open, you know, support Nautilus, support Leona to buy this item, where before it was a bit too expensive, being 3,000 gold. So that's cool. Ardent Sensor is gaining a 5% movement speed for the user, which is always nice for supports. It's getting less base mana regeneration, gaining less ability power, but is gaining more in the passive, which is what it's supposed to be. So healed is becoming healing or shielding an ally enhances you both for 6 seconds, granting your stacks 15 to 30% based on the ally's level, attack speed, and magic damage on hit. So again, why am I not surprised with this? Well, this links to what they're exactly trying to do with the Rage Blade, kind of magic damage on hit, attack speed, and magic damage every 3rd hit. This just links up with that completely. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Chalice of Blessing. So Chalice is being introduced as a new component meant to build into other enchanter items and provide some additional value by allowing supports to access early mana regeneration. So 900 gold. The item recipes there, 200 health, 50 mana regeneration, base mana regeneration, and then the new unique passive Harmony is gain 25% base health regeneration for every additional 25% base mana regeneration. So that's quite interesting. So there you go. So it just helps sustain in lane as a more squishy support. Chemtech is being cheaper, but that does mean they're taking some strength away from it. So what they're basically doing is acknowledging supports haven't had the most of gold, so they're making their items technically weaker, but cheaper at the same time. So there's that. I guess it's not too bad. Echoes of Helia, which is the new item. So let's see. Chalice. So I presume this is basically Chalice, the old version of it from years ago. This is the new version of it in essence. So it's 2300. It's a mythic, by the way. 2300, 30 ability power, 200 health, 15 ability haste, base mana regeneration. Dealing damage to an enemy champion grants a soul shard up to 2. Healing or shielding an ally consumes all soul shards and restores health and deals magic damage per shard to the nearest enemy champion. That's pretty good. And then gain 3 ability power per 25 base mana regeneration. Disables Harmony, though, when this gets upgraded. And then the passive is you gain ability haste for other legendaries. That's a pretty strong item. I like that. That's for like more dueling supports, like Karma this would be good on. Even Lulu this would be not bad on. Maybe even Milio. That's kind of a nice item. I like that quite a lot. That's the Ornn version. Even Shroud. So Even Shroud, again, too expensive, I guess. So they're nerfing it. Not really, actually, no. So they're just making it cheaper. They're changing the recipe. Health is staying the same. Armor staying the same. Magic resist is staying the same. Ability haste, I guess that's bugged. Maybe that it says 20 into 20, but I presume it's 20 into something. They just have entered it wrong. So yeah, it's the same, increasing damage they take for 10 seconds. Getting, other legendaries are getting 5 armor and 5 magic resist. So yeah, it's just a nice, good, tankier item and helps people do damage by you getting CC'd or CCing them. Mandate is becoming a legendary item. Wow, okay. So it's becoming a legendary item. It's 200 gold cheaper. Recipe's changing. Ability power, though, is going up, even though it's being nerfed into a legendary. Ability haste is staying the same. Base mana regeneration is staying the same. And then the unique passive is becoming abilities that slow or immobilize a champion, deal damage based on ally level, bonus magic damage, and marks them for 4 seconds. Ally champion detonates the mark. So there's that. So it doesn't seem that that's being changed too much. The damage of it is going a bit lower, but you're getting more ability power for yourself. So yeah, that doesn't seem that bad. Knight's Vow is becoming a tiny bit cheaper. You're getting a bit less health, but you're gaining armor where the item used to not have it. A little bit less ability haste, though, and a bit less health regeneration. But other than that, that's not bad. You're still doing the sacrifice of you taking damage for your ally. A new component, Lifewell Pendant. So you're getting health, armor, and ability haste for that. That's not bad. Locket is becoming cheaper. A lot of this stuff is just completely unchanged. So again, it's not that big of a deal. The shield of it is going up tiny amount. So there's that. Mikhail's, you're gaining health, but it no longer gives magic resist. And then the new harmony thing is the base health regeneration and stuff like that. Okay. And then Moonstone, staying pretty much unchanged, little tweaks of stuff here or there, but you're gaining Starlight Grace, healing or shielding an ally, chains to the nearest ally champion, excluding yourself, healing for 20 to 35% of the ally's target level, or shielding 30 to 40% of the original amount. So there's that. And then obviously, yeah, this is becoming, I mean, it was already a mythic, but I guess it's just new. You get 5 ability haste per legendary. Oh, it's Moonstone? No, yeah. Moonstone was a mythic, wasn't it? I think so. Yeah. Anyway. All version. Radiant Virtue. So this item obviously has had its issues, or people like, Zach is still buying it. There was a time that Vyers were buying Radiant, was a bit of a problem. So Radiant Virtue is still positioned as an item for top and jungle tanks, but by lowering its cost, we're hoping to open it as a greedy support item. Okay, so they're still wanting Zax and stuff to buy it, but if you're doing really well on Nautilus support, maybe you'll buy a Radiant. You'll stretch yourself to 2,700 gold. Anyway, so the item is getting nerfed because it's becoming cheaper. So you're getting less health, armor staying the same, magic resist staying the same, less ability haste. And then the actual Healy thing, I presume, is going down. Yeah, so it was 15% maximum health here. It was now 12.5. And then 2.5 is your maximum health, makes you transcended, and every 3 seconds, etc. They used to be 3%. So it is actually being nerfed. So things like Zach, this is bad for Zach because he could afford 3,200 gold because he's a jungler. Yes, he gets it earlier, but the actual item itself is weaker. So that's odd. And again, it's granting, it used to grant 100 bonus health per legendary. It's now only gaining 75. So again, nerfed again. Redemption, it's just gaining the harmony thing, slightly small changes here or there. Battle Song is becoming cheaper. So a lot of the items, in essence, are hilariously getting nerfed a bit, but they're cheaper. So you just get them earlier into the game. So a little bit less ability power, and that's basically it. The only thing that I guess is different massively is this. So unique passive motivate. Healing, shielding, or buffing allies grants you and them 25% bonus movement speed for 1.5 seconds. It's now becoming nerfed. Pretty much the same thing. It used to be 25%. It's now 20%. So again, it's cheaper, but it's worse. I don't know if this, hilariously, maybe Riot deemed supports too strong. I don't know, and I would say supports have been strong for a while, but AD carries have been stronger, and they've made AD carry items ridiculous, but it seems that they're actually making support items worse. It's weird. Shirelia's, the Ornn version, Staff of Flowing Water is becoming cheaper. You're getting less ability power, considerably less ability power, less mana regeneration. You're getting movement speed, which is nice, though. And then the Rapids is healing or shielding another ally grants you both 30 to 45% ability power, so that is a buff technically in the early game, and 20, which is the same ability haste for 4 seconds, so still overall kind of a nerf for the item. The Wardstone, still nobody really buys this. Grants 8% increase to bonus health, bonus attack damage, and all that stuff. That might make people buy it. That might make people buy it. That sounds actually quite good. And then it was changed from an so it only can be, this item can only be purchased after completing your support quest, which is the same. So this is 1100. Oh, this is just the upgraded version. This is 20% increased bonus health, bonus attack damage, and ability haste. And ability. That item, again, I don't even know if that item has been massively changed. I think potentially this item, this version always had the bonus stats, but this version didn't. And that just put people off buying that. But again, it is worth knowing these items are good if you really do need vision. If it's a game that you can't afford not having control wards, buy a ward stone because it holds control wards as an item. So you're still gaining stats, even though you need to still buy control wards. So there's that. Zeke's is getting cheaper, but again, the trade-off is on average, it's probably getting weaker. So weird. Divine Sunderer. We're nerfing Sunderer to be less of a tank counter, especially in lane. So 125% of base AD plus 6%, 3% if range of target's maximum health. It's now 160% of your base AD, which is good, but then only 4%, 2% if range of target's maximum health. So that's technically a nerf to tank killers like Fiora and stuff like that, who likes Divine in top lane. Technically a nerf. That's a buff to tanks, especially top. Fumblewinter, the free say the passive Everlasting Shield no longer consumes the user's mana, so that's just a buff to the item. And then Dissipate now grants 30% bonus magic resist, so it's making it, well, when you use the item, it's becoming better, but it's becoming cheaper, so less base magic resist, bit more health though. Gore Drinker, 100 gold cheaper, but it's getting stronger in general. What? Okay. Why would you buff Gore? I have no idea. Hullbreaker, an item that still so many people absolutely despise, and they're buffing it. It's getting 10 more attack damage, and actually is now giving the users 5% movement speed. Why would you do that? I don't know. Lord Doms. It used to be Giant Slayer deals increased physical. It's now deal physical and magic damage based on maximum health difference. That's cool. So again, that's more for AD carries who's now getting a bit of this ability power. Lost Chapter. We're aiming to help mages. Oh, they're helping mages. They know we exist. With an earlier power spike in their laning phase to keep up with the opposition in solo queue. Yeah, that's still not going to happen, but still. Acknowledge some risk that this chance given mages already tend to be top performers in pro play, so we'll be keeping an eye out. So just to make it clear, because I have had those comments before going, oh, does people play mages in pro play? Yeah, pro play is very different to solo queue. Pro play is coordinated. A lot of the time it's actually calmer in a lot of aspects of solo queue, and you can trust your teammates. Mages need time to scale, and in solo queue your team can feed so much that you can't get there. In pro play, if you have an Aurelion Soul or something like that mid lane, you're not, as a top laner, going to go 0 and 7 in pro play because you'll just play safer. Your top laner that's tilted in solo queue doesn't care. They'll just go 0 and 7 and the game is over. That's the problem with mages. They take way too long to get online. I would even say, yeah, their late game is decent, a lot of them. Nerf their late game a bit, but give them more early strength. They just cannot compete with a lot of things in League now. Hell, look, Nautilus mid has gained popularity because, one, it's a counter against most meta mids that aren't mages. So if it's like a Kiana or something like that, Nautilus beats that. But the main reason that people are playing Nautilus mid is because the only lane that actually matters is bot lane, and Nautilus is giving bot lane, the AD carry, more protection and more CC. That's genuinely why people are playing Naut. Because mid doesn't matter that much. Anyway, more Mortius is becoming... It is being... Mages have options to play around more, but it should be a bit easier to wait out the shield. So the cost is cheaper, but it's a longer cooldown, and the shield is half in time. I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. The reason why mages aren't strong is not because of more Mortius. Hardly anybody buys this item. But yeah. Death Cap. Ooh, they're giving us 5% back. Dude, they have removed this 5% so many times, I swear. So, yeah, we are getting 5% bonus ability power back on Death Cap. So that's nice. Because, hell, 35%, yes, it's not bad. But there are some games I do not buy Death Cap on mages where it used to be an item you had to buy every game. 5% extra ability power is pretty decent. So this will make the item more like, oh, I need to buy Death Cap again. Sterix, you're gaining 25% increased size and 30% tenacity. That's pretty strong. Attack damage for stride breakers going up. Attack damage for Trinity Force. So all I will say, again, I don't mean to be negative in any way. Can we just agree that pretty much everything that they've done is just increased damage on items? The nerf to damage and everything that they did months ago, that doesn't exist anymore. The only thing that has now stayed from the durability update, the only thing that has stayed from that, because the damage in the game is back to that level easily, the only thing that has stayed is assassins now can't, they have to build as assassins. Because back then you could have Kiana's building tank and still one-shotting you. They can't do that. They actually have to build as an assassin, which is good. That's the way it should be. But that's the point, is the damage level is back to what it used to be. But it's just, you have to build intended as damage. That's the only thing. So there's that. Attack speed is up, attack damage is up, and the 3-hold strike duration is going up, making it better. Early game adjustments. Dude, they are doing quite a lot. What the hell? This is a big video, isn't it? So, mid-season patch. Obviously, this is the mid-season patch. It's a very big patch. So, fountain mana regeneration is going up. Oh, nice. That's good. So, again, sometimes I will say it's been annoying as a mage. If you're against a Yasuo or a Vlad in mid lane, they can just really quickly regen their health and they get back to lane. And mage has to wait for their mana to regen. And that's why sometimes you don't wait the whole time for your mana to regen, because you're like, I have to get back to lane. So it used to do 2.1% maximum mana every tick. It's now doing 3.1. So that will get your mana back quicker, which is nice. Home guards, the home guard start time. So again, getting the increased movement speed to get back into the game as such on your base. It used to start at 20 minutes. It's now starting at 14, which is obviously tied to the teleport timing, I guess. Blast cone spawn time was 5 minutes, 5:30. It's now spawning at 9 minutes, so it's later. So another way to reduce early roaming and ganking pressure is we're delaying the spawn of blast cones. So again, like, that's the thing, is a lot of mid laner roam champions could use blast cones and just ping pong around the map, and the mid laner, especially mage, would be like, oh, I can't do that, because that's just not what they're built for. So that is a good nerf. I like that. Minions. The first minute is adjusting the speed of minion waves. Mid lane minions have always met first, meaning that mid laners can clear the wave and look for ganks and roams, while the side lanes risk themselves to clear their minion wave. Whoa! Ooh. So minions got to go fast. Except for the first spawn of minions, mid lane minions will meet at the same time as side minions. Wow! But this falls off at 14 minutes. So they're either speeding up the side lanes or they're slowing down the mid ones. That's actually kind of big. And then minions that are currently attacking an enemy tower will ignore call for hate signals to target enemy champions. Let them focus. So they're going to just target the tower. That's actually very interesting, because it is true. I have played against, and I again, I'm not trying to, make a point overly here, but I have played against Katarinas that are already looking for a roam on the second or third minion wave, and it's because because our minion waves get there quicker in mid. Now the fact that the minion waves are going to meet at the same time, that delays them so much, and it also gives the side laners chance to get the XP, the same XP at the same rate. Obviously bot lane will be behind because there's two of them, they're sharing the XP, but that is quite a big change. Do not think it's not. That's quite big. Champions. So again, we're re-adding some hybrid builds to the game, we're also removing one of the major and unintended downsides of hybrid builds. I will just say I'm a bit worried about the hybrid builds coming back, because there was a reason that they got rid of them. They're really hard to balance. So yeah, champions now deal total AD plus 60% of their ability power to towers. The plate rushdown resistances. So we've all been in that situation where a single gank, Rift Herald, or bad mistake in lane costs 2 to 3 tower plates. Yup. Snowballing the lane out of control. These scenarios are important as individual wins, but we think they've gone a bit too far. I'd agree to that, with how quickly they end in interaction in lane. The following change means that subsequent plates are much harder to take, especially with multiple enemies around. Oh, wow. This shouldn't affect small wins where one plate is taken. like roams or a single death, but should help you losing your entire tower to a single push or rotation from the enemy team. I like this. So used to give 0 to 180 extra resistances based on how many champions are there. It's now base 45 to 225 based on number of champions. So yeah, it's making the towers a lot more beefy, which I think is good. Teleport. Oh, so again, they've not loved teleport for a long time in League. So 14 minutes was where you could just teleport to everything like you could before at the beginning of the game. So you could teleport to minions, you could teleport to Zac blobs, you could teleport to Jarvan flag, teleport to anything that you can. That's now coming down to 10 minutes, so a bit quicker. But the caveat to that is it's weaker in the early game again. So it's already a 240-second cooldown. Well, I guess, nah, that's relatively changing the same again. But teleport is going to be a 240-second cooldown, which it is already right now at level 10, but it's starting at 330 seconds. I thought that teleport already starts at 330 seconds and it goes down to 240 at 14 minutes. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, damn. But again, at least you can teleport and help your team more quicker with TP again. That's good. Trinket changes. God, I can't believe how many changes they've done. Again, big mid-season patch. Farsight will now provide vision over walls within 500 units. Farsight will now ping enemy champions revealed on the minimap. And Intruder Alert, upon detecting an enemy champion for the first time, Farsight will ping enemy champion on the minimap, expand its vision radius to 800 units, and then self-destruct. Huh. Okay. So it's basically, it's more of a scouting tool. It's more effective as that. And then the Oracle Lens, the day you almost got caught, if the owner of Oracle Lens is actively hitting a ward, their team will now gain vision of the ward so they can completely clear it out. So it can't just disappear while it's happening. Double Vision, Oracle Lens will now have 2 charges. Oh, wow, okay. The timers of them were 120 to 60. It's now 160 to 100, but again, you can have 2 charges. And the duration is going down, but again, you can have 2 charges. So that's an overall buff. Interesting. ARAM changes don't care about. Mythic Shop, bug fixes, and then the upcoming skins. But there we go. Wow, what a big patch. Over 50-minute video. What I would say is, I can't hide it. I like playing mid lane, especially mages. I wish mid lane mages got a bit more love. We literally basically have had one thing. We've had Lost Chapter. That's it. AD carries have had so many changes already, good ones. They're having now even better ones. Supports are also getting changed, but I don't even know technically for the better. And hell, even top lane fighter champions have had more changes than mages. And again, they've had a lot more changes and love than mages have as well. So again, I know we all have our personal biases. I just I like enjoying the champions I like to play, the group of champions like mages. And I just wish they had a bit more love. It's like, I'm not saying that this is, all Freak's fault. It's not. But what I feel the dev team needs is we need a version of Freak that likes mages in the dev team, in the balance team. Because obviously Freak loves AD carries, and I'm sure this was a big collaborative effort. Freak may even not have done a lot of this AD carry stuff. But I would say is if we had a version of Freak, the old caster and dev, that loves mages in that team, I bet something would be done. There cannot be someone in that team that loves mages. That's kind of my point. That team just must be full of people that love AD carry and love playing assassins and fighters. That it has to be just fighters, assassins, and AD carries. They don't have representation of a mage player in that balanced dev team. Like, they can't, because otherwise, why hasn't something been done by now? It's just weird. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Absolutely huge patch. If you guys enjoyed the video, though, please do throw a like on the video, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. If you made it to the end of this video, use the keyword minion somewhere, or minions, and I'll know you made it to the end of this long 54 basically minute video. I'll be interested to see how many people do that. But anyway, that's gonna be it. If you guys enjoy, throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace. Call down the reckoning.